Hello, good people, and good evening. How are we doing? I hope tuko salama kabisa and that you can hear me. Unaweza nisikia? Let me know kama unanisikia. Can you hear me?
Tunakupata madam.
All right, thank you. Okay, it's good to see you. It's happy that we are having this class today. I'm so sorry about yesterday. Yeah, I got to the house so late. We had rains on the road. I couldn't get to the house on time. Getting to the house, there was a power blackout. I had no charge. I mean, it was just messy. So I realized I was not even in a place where I could be able to just function. So I am sorry about that, but I hope that I hope we'll find time to just make it up for that. Midterm is coming next week, so I know we will have some moment. All right. We were supposed to have Kiswahili today, but Mwalimu is away on a school function that has taken a bit long. She would not make it on time. She needs to take the students back to school by the time we were talking. So I said, why not? Let me step in now that yesterday I didn't have my session. So I wanted us to look at the poem. The last time we were here on Monday morning, we were talking about the poem, The Death of My Father, and we were looking at the stylistic devices. That is the point we were into that time. And today we should finish up on the stylistic devices. And I think we began with the sound patterns, and I think we did some bit of comprehensive work. I left when we had identified the alliteration, the assonance, and the consonants. I think we were somewhere there. Yeah, so I don't know whether, can somebody just take us through what the sound patterns that we identified, just to refresh our memory for a minute, even as we carry on with the others. Maybe somebody can take us through that so that we are on the same page. Then tuendelee na the others. I hope we found time to have a look at them. Anybody? I'm waiting for us. Aya, kwani hatukufanya hiyo ama ni mimi na my memories are playing games on me? Did we cover the sound patterns from this poem?
Yes, madam, we did.
Okay, kindly somebody take us through what we covered.
About the sound patterns.
Yes, what did we? Yes, whatever we covered.
Yes, we looked about the assonance and consonants. Yeah, tulikuwa tumefikia hapo, yes. Then ukatuambia we proceed to find other styles. Then ndo nini. Yeah, we were discussing other styles before uendelee.
All right. We identified the assonance and the consonants, eh?
Yes.
And the alliteration.
Yes.
And the alliteration also. Yeah, I think we also did alliteration, assonance, and consonants. Yeah, I don't think we need to go back there now. Thank you very much. Do you think there is a rhyme? Do you see any rhyming words?
Teacher, in first stanza, line 1 and 2, eyes and lips, are they rhyming?
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're not. The sounds must, the last syllable should sound the same. Eyes, and maybe if there was another word, like, I don't know which other one. Like if we had lips and hips, you know, lips and keeps or something. Hair and air, hands and buns, you know, something like that. Lived and hived or heaved or something. A word that the last syllable looks alike. Naona kama ni kama hatuna rhyme here. Kuna mtu ameona rhyme?
No, there's no rhyming words.
Yeah, I don't rhyme. Very good. All right. Repetition. Can you identify the style? I hope you're noting down, eh? Repetition. Any style of repetition?
The last line,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I did not mourn for him. In every stanza,
Yeah.
there is mourn for him, mourn for him.
Yes, there is that repetition of the word. The line, I did not mourn for him. The second says, no, I did not mourn for him. The third one, I could not mourn for him. The other one, so I could not mourn for him. And the last one, I will not mourn for him. I will not mourn for, but I will not mourn for him, but I will not mourn for me. And that line has been repeated in every stanza. It's important for you to note that as a stylistic device. Very, very important. Any other style that we see in that? Let me zoom it out so that you're able to look at it as a whole. You can zoom from your end. All right, so we listed quite a number of styles. Ziangalie uone ni gani unaona kama inaweza fit hapo. At least we've seen consonants, we've seen assonance, we've seen alliteration, repetition. Any other? Do you see any simile? The imagery, the simile and the metaphor?
What about the vivid description? The second stanza on
Yeah.
the third, on the last but the third stanza,
Mm.
yeah, the second last, bed bag bed. Can you talk of vivid description?
Yeah. Actually, the vivid description is like the entire stanza. It's like the entire stanza. Can turn off your mic? Turn it off for you. Yeah, it's like the entire stanza. The entire stanza, and actually, let me say almost the entire poem. It's so vividly described. You know, it's like you can almost touch. This whole description, this whole situation is so loud and so clear in our minds as you read through. The first stanza talking about his sunken cheeks, his inward-looking eyes, sarcastic, scornful smile on his lips, his unkempt, matted gray hair, the hard course, yani as in, unaweza mchora venye ameelezewa vizuri, you know. Then the second stanza, they're talking about what he does. The first stanza talks about the person he is, his physique, his demeanor, his presence. The second one talks about the work he's done, how the works of his hands, how he has built this and the other. Then the third stanza talks about where he lives, you know, his setting, his situation, and so on. So the whole, I would really, instead of picking one line, I would probably, but now you can talk about the whole poem if it's an exam. You may need to just pick like a stanza which you think it's very loud, like this one for the one that you have picked about the third one. But he built colonial mansions, hugely unwieldy, arrogant constructions, but is quoted in a sickly madhouse with his children huddled stuntedly under the bed he shared with mother. With mother, I could not mourn for him. So that is vivid description. You can almost see the children. You can almost see the children under the bed. You can almost see that bed that he's sharing with his wife and the children and the madly, the mad house looking sickly. The mad house looks so bad. I imagine iko na mashimo na manguo pieces of old clothes zimefixiwa huko ndani so that, something like that. I think that is a good one for vivid description. Very good. Any other?
Teacher, I think there is symbolism in second stanza, that line. His sweat was his ointment and his perfume, the sweat symbolizing hard work and struggle.
Very good. His sweat was his ointment and his perfume. That is okay. That symbolizes the hard work, the hard labor, the effort. Let's talk about the hard labor actually. The hard labor, I think that's a better word. Yeah, and his effort and the much work that goes into is a lot of sweating. Si kazi yenye anakaa kwa ofisi without sweating. It was his ointment. Ointment ni kama mafuta or kitu ya kujipaka, na kitu yenye has medicinal value or something, and his perfume. You can imagine your sweat, your perfume, You can imagine how that person looks like and how much work he does. That's symbolic. I like that. Anybody else? You see anything? You can look in the whole poem and see whether you are able to pick something else. Any simile, any metaphor? Did you talk about hyperbole as a style?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. I think it's pronounced something like hyperbole or something. But we call it hyperbole for just to make life easy. Hyperbole, the same as exaggeration. Check.
And the same line of his sweat was his ointment and his perfume. Can it be a hyperbole?
Not necessarily. It may not be hyperbole. Hyperbole is where you see complete exaggeration, like it's not humanly possible. Haiko possible kukua hivyo. But I think in this situation it's possible. It's possible to have somebody, like the people who do work like they had physical work. Yeah, sometimes you work so much. Like I imagine the people who do casual labor, like digging people's shambas, umeshinda kwa shamba ukilima, or mnatengeneza barabara, this construction works, kupiga mawe, kutoa, that hard labor. Na si one day, ni every day. Sijui mnachimba mawe wapi, mnachimba barabara wapi, ama mnachimba in a construction site. That hard labor, the sweating from early morning, from 6 a.m. until all the way to much later, jua imewaka, and it's not every day. So huyo mtu sweat is part and parcel of their lives. And wewe sasa hapo umechapa cologne, it's smelling very nice. Yeah, sasa sweat is really part of the smell that, when you use a certain perfume for so long, even when you're not wearing that perfume, hata kama huvai hizo nguo, kuna venye mwili yako ina pick that, your body odor ina pick that perfume such that hata ukitoka tu kwa nyumba huja spray ama hujatumia hiyo whatever, your body smells that way. That's your natural body odor now. So the same thing. There are people, because of sweating so much and even the privilege of using something like that, haiko. So the sweat is more of their perfume. Perfume, of course, doesn't mean the perfume, you know. So it may not be exaggeration, because really, that is life. That is it. That happens. So I think maybe, I know there is exaggeration. We can try to pick exaggeration, hyperbole, but that may not be a hyperbole, so to speak.
I've seen the contrast.
Yes, thank you. Where do you see contrast?
Stanza 3, where it says,
Explain.
he built colonial mansions,
Yeah.
huge, unwieldy, arrogant constructions, but he is quietly in a sickly madhouse.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's a very good illustration of contrast. I was hoping you people will see it. Thank you, James. I hope you're noting those things in your book, eh? Kindly please note them down, because you will need them, because it is the practice that will make you get used of seeing them and noting them. Very good. There's a contrast. His life is contrasted with what he does every day, and what he's providing for people out there. Built colonial mansions, huge, unwieldy, arrogant constructions. You can imagine those colonial mansions. Yani, and then he's living in a madhouse with his children huddled stuntedly under the bedbug bed, you know? Yeah, so that's a good contrast. Very good. Anything else?
Madam, the last stanza, line 5, the fifth. I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings. Can you talk of personification when we talk about the sleepy hopes?
Yes, very good. I love how you people are looking at these things. Very good. Yes, you can see personification. His sleepy hopes and yearnings, you know. Sleepy, we know that is something, it's a human character, where you say a sleepy, animals are the ones that sleep. They are sleepy. But hope and yearnings are not human. So they are categorized as non-living. So when they are given the human characteristic, that is personification. Thank you very much. Any other? It's like we don't have rhetorical questions here. Anything else that you see? I like how we are looking at it. Do you see any metaphor, any simile?
I can see like us.
Sorry?
Metaphor.
Where is it? Stanza?
No, I haven't identified yet. I'm looking into it.
All right. Thank you. As we talk about personification, I just want you to look at the first stanza, where we are told about his sunken eyes, his sunken cheeks, his inward-looking eyes, the sarcastic, scornful smile on his lips, the unkempt, matted gray hair, the hard, coarse, sandpaper hands, spoke eloquently of the life he lived, but I did not mourn for him. Now, when you look at that second last line, spoke eloquently of the life he lived. Who was speaking? It is the sunken cheeks, it is the eyes, the lips, the hair, and the hands are the ones we are told that spoke eloquently of the life he lived. So of course, that is also an element of personification, where you give human characteristics to something that may not actually be doing that, as much as they are parts of a human body, but they will not speak. All right. If you can't get another, if you don't get another style, if you don't see, if you don't see a what, if you don't see another style or a simile or a metaphor, I would want us to go on to just wind up with this poem, because the Missouri we try and now, because I wanted us to spend some little more time on the on the stanza, on the character, on the styles, on the styles and the stylistic devices. But it's also good, before we move on to something else, for us to have a look at the other questions. What were the other questions on these? So let's have a look at that before we move on to the other part. I hope to find those questions easily. To find them so that we can share them. And then we finish up with that poem and we go to something else. Give me a minute, let me share them to find them. You can be looking at them from the WhatsApp group, Trying to trace them from my gallery so that I can share. Okay, since I can't find them, screenshot them from the group. Okay, there we go. I think we handled the question on the persona and what the poem is talking about. I think we did that. Comment on the alliteration used in the poem. I think that is handled. Apart from alliteration, identify and explain. Any other two aspects of style? I think that we've looked at. We've just finished on that question. Maybe we could just look at the other remaining questions for us to just ensure that we have exhausted that poem. Remember, the only way to study poetry is just for you to understand those things basically, and then try as many poems as possible. There are no two ways about it. Yeah, there are no two ways about it. So the other question, can somebody read for us question E? Question E.
What reason does the persona give for not mourning his father's death?
How many marks? Did we give marks? Okay, it's like we don't have the marks. But assuming that question has got 3 marks, what reason does the persona give for not mourning his father's death? Assuming you've been given 3 marks, what would you say to earn you 3 marks? Let's give it a try. And remember, it's okay to not get it right.
I can say
Yes.
it is because his father suffered a lot
Uh-huh.
in poverty.
Yes.
So if in this case he was to give reasons as to why his father died,
Mm-hmm.
he could be in a very yani atakuwa na ile uchungu na hasira na ataanza kulia. That's what I can say.
Okay. Not very bad. That's a good trial. Yeah, if you give that, you would get maybe maybe half a mark. But it's a good trial. Maybe half a mark or one on a good day. But that's a good on a good day. Okay, somebody give it a try. What did he say? And I want you to focus on the last stanza, especially. It's okay to also look at that. Mm.
He since the father suffered a lot, he still had hope that his father the things will get better. Like in the last stanza, that line from bottom, I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings. So he still had hopes that things would get better.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. That's a better one. Yeah, and especially when you combine it with what James has said, that he does not want to really think about what the father has gone through, the suffering, the pain, the hard labor, and what he's had to endure for him to just be okay. He does not want to think about that. Instead, that's why I've said James' answer is okay, but it's not complete. So we'll add to yours and say that instead of that, of looking at the sadness of his father's past life, he says in that stanza, no, I did not shed any tears. My father's death still, my father's dead life still lives in me. He lives in my son, my father. I am my father and my son. I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings. I will not mourn for him. I will not mourn for him. I will not mourn for me. So when you look at that poem, that last stanza, it's very critical in answering this question, because he has first of all told us how his father looked, the sunken eyes, the lips, the hands, and he says, I will not mourn for him. What he built, the mansions, the constructions, but he lived in a muddy house, and so on. But now, as he winds up in that, he winds the poem in a very strong, optimistic tone, with that attitude of, it is true, my dad died, but I didn't mourn. Why? Because I think all is not lost. There is hope for tomorrow. There is something. His dead life lives in me. It's like he's saying, I will not mourn because he's not really dead. He may not have achieved his dreams when he was alive. He may not have seen the beauty of his work when he was alive. His hopes, the things he looked forward to, educating us, the children, giving us the best life, even if we lived in a sickly, mud house. My son who lives, and I want to believe that this son who is writing this poem about the persona does not live in a house like the father lived. I'm sure he lives in a better house. And so he says, I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings, but I will not mourn for him. I will not mourn for. So he feels that probably if he starts mourning, he will lose focus, like what James was saying. He will lose it because he's too sad to even work. He wants to focus by arising and revisiting the dreams and the yearnings of his father, so that by the end of the day, he's able to achieve them. So I think when you're answering that question, what reason does the persona give for not mourning his father. You may need to be a bit comprehensive. Usiandike one sentence or 2 lines. Please try as much as you can to explain. Let your
Hello, muko ama mmetoweka?
Network ya Tisa imekatika lakini atarudi tu.
Hmm. Nikuuliza Domita, hii kitu inaitwa tone ama mood. Is it a stylistic device ama ni nini?
Hiyo tu iko hivyo, tone, mood and attitude. Inaulizangwa ikiwa hivyo tu. Unaweza ulizwa tone, unaweza ulizwa attitude, na unaweza ulizwa tone.
Tone stylistic device.
Umeletwa na nani?
Tone
Si stylistic
device.
device. Si
Iko
stylistic
kivyake?
device. Iko kivyake hiyo.
Oh.
Mm.
James. Domi,
Yes.
kwani James ameenda kulala? Hata nilikuwa nataka kuambia tu proceed ku discuss.
Hawezi enda, sijui imefanya nini.
Sasa si we proceed the next question. Mimi tukisubiri mwalimu other than tumenyamaza.
Sawa.
The second question ilikuwa inaulizaje hata imeenda. Kama uko na hizo questions maybe mpaka kwa WhatsApp.
Labda tutoe kwa WhatsApp tuangalie tena.
Yeah, but I think the question was asking what was the kazi ya huyo jamaa ilikuwa gani?
Acha tuone. Acha niangalie.
Umeona?
Ndio naangalia. Iko kwa PCC ama iko kwa nini? Private, Focus Online Private.
Focus Online Private.
So nauliza F.
Ulikuwa umeenda
What is the father's?
What is
From the poem.
What is the father's profession from the poem?
I think he was a carpenter, ama?
Ni carpenter. Siko hapo mali ya ama. Na mali so imetajwa, kuna plane.
Na penye alikuwa anatengeneza furniture.
Kuna viti, kuna chairs.
Yep.
Hiyo kwa saa woodworker.
Explain the meaning of the following lines as used in the poem. The hard, coarse, sandpaper hands spoke eloquently. The next, question G. Explain the meaning of the following lines as in the poem. Domitila.
Yes.
Kuja nafundishana homework wewe.
Eh,
Umeona
ati
hiyo
ni
the
the
next
last line.
question.
Imeambiwa the last.
Hmm?
Monica, ati imeulizwa aje hiyo question?
Part
Muende
G.
mlale nyinyi.
Explain the meaning of the following lines as used in the poem.
Oh, okay. The hard core sad paper hands. Mhm.
All right, sorry, my network was misbehaving. But nimetafuta, what do you call it? Data. All right, thank you even for carrying on even my absence. Nasikia bado tuko hapo wear two hats. Two hats, one person, which is part of life. Thank you very much. So tuendelee. Sijui nasikia tulikuwa tumehandle question F. What is the father's profession from the poem? I think nimesikia mmehandle hiyo. So we can go on. Explain the meaning of the following lines as used in the poem. The hard course sandpaper hands. So of course, when you're given this kind of a question, most of the times inakuanga 1 mark, Most of the times you're given 1 mark. And so don't feel tempted to write one word, As much as possible, try and explain something. The question says, explain the meaning. I see students writing 1 word, and I don't think it's okay. Explain the meaning. What do you understand by the coarse, the hard, coarse sandpaper hands? And so on this case, we are talking about the texture of his hands. We all know, unless wewe sasa haujatokea outside the estate kwa nyumba, or just within. Once you step out and go to Shago, or you go to a place where you're dealing with hard work, unalima, uko manual work, physical work.
Walimu wengi ni watoto ya Celerax. Hawajafanya kazi ngumu ya sulubu kama sisi.
Hawajaenda kukata majani ya kupea ng'ombe
na kulima
na kulima kwa mto. Yeah. So if you have had those experiences, especially when we were growing up, maybe some of us may not have had, but at least I know most of us our age, tumeinteract na hizo vitu kiasi tu. We know how hard our hands and our feet come.
Tumefanya mpaka ile ilikuwa inaitwa kibarua. You
Kibarua.
go and plow na neighborhood maybe to be paid 5 shillings.
Yes.
Also.
Now your 5 shillings is a lot of money. A lot of money. Yeah.
Those days.
So by those days, by that time, ukirudi home mikono iko na blisters, na hata blisters zinakuwa imazoea blisters, hata haitoi blisters tena. It's already so hard. I mean, as in, hiyo ndio texture yake sasa. So the hard coarse sandpaper hands. So we are talking about the texture of his hands because of the hard work, because of using the hammer, because of using the chisel, because of using the saw, because of using, whatever he was using to the mansions, for him to build the mansions. And remember, the mansions have been described as huge, unwieldy, arrogant constructions. So you can imagine kuna kuchimba, maybe the trenches and so on. So his hands are a testament of the much hard physical work that he's doing. So when you're explaining the meaning of that, you must be careful to make sure that you capture what is the keyword. The keyword is talking about the texture of his hands, which depicts the kind of work that he has been engaged in from morning till evening, from Monday to Monday, from 1 year to the other year. And so that finally his hands become like a sandpaper, and it's not very interesting. So sijui kama huko hakuwa na Glycerin inasaidianga sana. So when you're explaining that, don't give one word at hard hands. or rough hands. Explain something. Explain something. I'm not going to say how to explain, but to spare one word. The other one, he spoke eloquently of the life he had lived. I think we talked about that. That is more of personification. Those hands, they speak eloquently. Eloquently is freely, like not in a flow. If you say someone who is eloquent, if you talk about someone who is eloquent, ni mtu mwenye anajieleza vizuri. She's very eloquent. He's very eloquent. As in, ukimwambia aseme kitu mbele ya watu ama kwa mtu mwingine, kuna vile you are able to get his point. He's able to communicate. They're not stammering. They're not saying, unajua, I mean, what was I saying? No, we don't have such. You're able to be eloquent, and therefore, by the end of the day, that is the ability to speak. So they are saying, iyo mikono, iyo the eyes, the lips, ukiziangalia tu, ndio zinakuongelesha, zinakuambia the life very clearly, without even stammering, without even confusion. They tell you the life he has lived, a life that is full of challenges, and so on. Give me 1 minute.
Tena.
Yeah, so you will need to explain just that personification bit, where the hands and all that have been used to depict or to communicate or to demonstrate the life he has lived, a life of misery, a life of hard work, a life of suffering, and so on. Nafanya hii video to move haraka, because we need to look at another poem so that at least tusikie ni kama tume-exhaust hiyo part. His premature old age look. His premature old age look, which is also a show of the suffering he's been through. Utajua, just want to hope that you'll be able to find the wordings, that his look looks premature, old age look. That look, sijui kama umewahi kutana na mtu mwenye mlikuwa mnasoma na yeye many years ago, na ukimwangalia wewe na muangaliane, that person looks so old, not because they are old na miaka, but because they've been through
Especially
stuff.
the drunkard.
Yes, they've been through so much, those who don't take care of their lives, so to speak, or they've been through poverty, Yeah, I think in this country we are saying we are all poor. We are all poor as Kenyans. We are suffering so much, but I think we are not poor. I think Kenya is one of the blessed countries, but there are people who go through stuff. You may think you are poor until you meet other poor people who don't even have food on their table. They don't have shoes on their feet and a roof over their head. Those people who have been, even food to eat is a problem. When you look at them, they may look very old, older than their age. So when you talk about the premature old age look, it is that look that you have and you look old. But kumbe hauko old, you look prematurely old because of the problems that you're going through. Now they say that pesa ni sabuni ya roho na ya mwili. When you have money, or when you're settled financially, or you're able to meet your needs, there's like a glow that comes, There's like a look that one has simply because you have some money. You're not struggling so much. There is a look that just that soft life will give you. So when you compare it with those who are suffering, then the two of you look like it's mtoto na mzazi wake, because the other one looks very old. Yeah, so find the wordings to explain that, but don't give one word. Again, hakuna hata space ya kupeana stories mingi, but just try and explain. Always make an effort to explain. And finally, I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings. I think we had looked at that, talked about his determination, his desire to revisit his father's dreams and to see what it is he can do to make sure that the things his father hoped to achieve, he achieves them. And I think that is what happens to most of us when we are of age, we are older, when our parents leave us, when our parents die. And even as children, we want to live to fulfill the dreams of our parents. Kuna kitu mzee alikuwa anataka ifanywe, mama alikuwa anataka hii ifanywe kabla aende. So somehow we feel obliged to just come through and come together and do that which we wanted, Dad would have wanted done, and so on. So he says, I will awaken his sleepy hopes and yearnings. And so that is the dream of every child, that his father or his mother who has departed will be happy that even in his absence, you're able to fulfill the things he had wanted fulfilled. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense to us, and it will be easier for us to keep answering those questions. And that's why I said poetry is not difficult. Imagine, poems are easy. You just need to make sure that at least you understand the poem. Sasa shida ni ukutane na ka poem kenye hata hauelewi kitu. That is where the problem is. And maybe I should get one. Those very unhappy poems, you know, zenye zinaweza sumbua kiasi. I think the next one tawatafutia kagumu kiasi. But most of the poems are easy. Most of the poems are interesting. Most of the poems are just fun to look at. And so let's not have an attitude that poetry is difficult, because hata ni nini ngumu hapo? Hakuna kitu ngumu. We've just been able to answer those questions. The most important thing is the technique. How do you answer the questions? I think that is what we need to keep capturing. And finally, what is the attitude of the persona towards his father's life? Now, this I want you to tell me. What is the attitude? And you can go back to the notes we had. I hope you wrote them down. Or you can check wherever we wrote. And I want us to handle the three. What is the attitude of the persona towards his father's life? And again, I want you to talk about the mood in this poem. What is the mood in this poem? And also, can you probably talk about the what do you call it? The tone that the persona has used. What is the tone of this poem? The tone, the attitude, and the mood. Let's come up with as many words as possible. How would you? There are many. You don't have to just have one. I want to give you a minute to just look at those. Give a word for attitude, or words. Doesn't have to be one. Give another one for mood. Give another one for tone. So let's see whether we are able to play with the words that we shared the other day and be able to use them for answering that question. After that is done, we'll be good to go. Then we can look at another poem very quickly. Then we are done with this part of poetry. Can we take a minute and do that work? Go back to the notes where we did attitude, tone, and mood, and let's discuss that. Sawa sawa, is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Hope, Charity, umenyamaza sana mrembo, unaweza nyamaza? Are we together? Charity, are we together? Monica, tuko pamoja eh?
Yes, madam kabisa.
All right, sawa. Let's take a minute and come up with the attitude, tone, and mood. Na zenye utakuja nazo, make sure that you explain eh? Wendo, are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's take a minute. Let's we can write as you write in your book, you can also do on the chat so that we can compare notes, we can share. In the meantime, nikuwe nawatolea poem mwingine. Anything you've come up on the attitude, tone, and mood?
Attitude, eh?
Yes.
The poem shows several attitudes of the persona. As one, sympathy. Bali tunaona he built colonial mansions, but is quartered in a sickly madhouse.
Yeah.
Alafu ya pili kuna bitterness. The persona is angry about the colonial system and he exploit his father.
Yeah.
Alafu ingine niliona ni respect. Even though says he did not mourn, he respect his father's hard work.
Very good.
Ingine nimeona ni determination na hope. Wale anasema the persona wants to continue his father's dreams of freedom.
And
he's yearning. Hopes and yearnings, sorry.
Yeah.
Ndio kitu mimi nimeona kwa hiyo attitude. Maybe
very good.
Others to add.
Thank you very much. Somebody else? Because the most important thing is for you to first of all identify those feelings, the emotions, all that. Then you can now pick them up and put them. Is it a tone? Kama ni tone, which words do we use? Do we say bitterness or is it a bitter tone? Do we say it's kama ni story ya determination? Do we say determined, attitude, or do we say determination? Do we say, which words do we use? Which form of the word do we use? I think that's a decision that that is the practice that we need to do. Which word do we use? How do we phrase it so that it okay vizuri? Kama ni attitude, kama ni tone, kama ni mood. Are we able to really get the right wordings to use? Form of that word to use. But the most important thing, first of all, is to make sure that you understand the feelings around it. What is this that is captured by the persona? Very good. What do the others think?
Madam, can we talk about, can we say about the sympathetic tone?
Yes, we can.
As in, the persona talks about, he sympathized with his father, talking about his kids and whatever. Yeah.
Talks about his sympathetic towards his father's miserable life. Which words really show us that which line or which part of it do we see? We see sympathy and empathy and not judgment. At what point do we feel like he's not angry with the father? That even when he says, I will not mourn for him, I do not mourn for him. At what point do we feel that there is sympathy, not judgment and anger towards his father? Yeah. I hope you've understood my question.
Yes, madam. What about the first line on the first answer?
What does it say?
Let me check kwa WhatsApp.
Let me share it. Yeah, as you're checking, I would want to hear what you think, Monica, but I want to raise so that we can move on. I want to raise that part, the last stanza. It's a powerful stanza in the sense that the persona feels, what we hear him say is a desire to meet with the dad. I mean, the desire to meet with the father's unmet and unrealized dreams. So at this point, we see the man we see, the father we see on this last stanza. It is not one who was irresponsible. It is not one who had no goals and future plans. He was not a hopeless person. The man that we see on this last stanza being communicated is not a man who really didn't care about tomorrow, but we hear the son saying that I will awaken the sleepy hopes and yearnings. What does that mean? That this son had interacted closely with the father. That means they had a relationship. That means the father was not distant, that he had lived with him, he had walked with him, he had spent time with him, and he knew what are his hopes. Because how did he know the father had yearnings if the father was an absent father? That means this man, in the middle of the suffering and the hard work and the lot of labor and so on, he still found time in this sickly madhouse. He still found time to bond with the children and let them know. So just naturally, when you bond with somebody, you get to know what are their hopes, what are their aspirations, what are their dreams, what things do they want to achieve. You're able to know all that. And so he says, I will awaken the sleepy hopes and yearnings, and I will not mourn for him. And he says, he lives in my son, my father. My father's dead life still lives in me. That doesn't sound like somebody who is angry at somebody. He only feels, it feels like the son is just sympathetic to the father and says, well, yeah, daddy, you're not able to really achieve what you really wanted to achieve. Mother Nature was not fair to you. You never found yourself in a space where you're able to achieve all the things you wanted to do. But me, your son, your hope still lives in me. Your dreams they are buried within me, and I will awaken them. They are sleepy, they are not awake, but I will awaken them myself. So it feels like the son is very anamfeel kabisa. He doesn't like look at him as one who has failed to really do his work and provide and just be there and be contented with a poor life. I think he understands where the father is coming from. So sympathetic is good. Sympathetic is very good. Any other that you'd think we can use? I hope these explanations they help you to appreciate the point better.
Sympathetic pia.
Mm-hmm.
It is illustrated in the first stanza, whereby he says, his sunken cheeks, his unweird looking eyes, the sarcastic crown and lips. Hiyo stanza yote ni kama huyo kijana alikuwa anaonea baba yake huruma sana.
And he says, so spoke eloquently about the life he has lived.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, life of suffering and so on. That is okay. That is okay. Very well. Any other thing you'd want to add so that we can have a look at this poem? It's an oral poem. I wanted to give us something different. It's an oral poem. And I want us to just have a look at it. We'll carry on with it in the next time we do this, but just a different feel. We may not be able to cover everything, but I wanted us to just do an oral poem. because it's also an area that can be examined. So nimeitoa kwa ile document yetu, the document I had shared in the group. So I don't know whether we can have anybody who is in a position to read for us. Mwenye background haina vitu mingi. You can have 2 people or 1 person depending. Anybody volunteer?
Let me read. Twiril, the person I suspect. What have you heard that makes you suspicious? I heard things said, rumors of weaver birds. They ate corn in Lesiba's field and finished it. And when they left, they sounded human. They said, listen to the numerous weaver birds, sons of Mosima's family, children of the host that ate the courtyards and the times. It is the numerous weaver birds, the grey ones that go about in swarms, children with the little red beaks, children that make noise in the mimosa trees. Tupu tupu. The smoke comes out while the dew still glitters. Hoa, swear, is heard in the early morning. They are finishing the corn, the numerous weaver birds, children with little red beaks. At home, it's yo-yo. The children are crying. Their mothers have gone to the fields to the birds. It is Zulus that have entered the country. Take axes and chop the tree branches. Yo, this year we shall eat fire. We shall lack even a blue-tongued goat. It's numerous weaver birds, the grey ones that go about in swarms.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. It is the crop thieves. The crop thieves. I think you didn't read the title. The crop thieves. Hiyo nayo inakaaje? I hope the title helps us to kinda understand or process what the poem is about. So, let me zoom out a bit. Nataka tuisome tu again. Thank you, Hope. That's good reading. Allow us to read it again. Pole pole sasa. When you're reading poems, you've read like the way she's read. The first time. Read for the sake of it. Read for fun. Don't even think about anything. Where's Soma 2 from the beginning to the end? First reading. The second reading, now you read more slowly, trying to process and ask yourself what is the poem about. Yeah, it's okay to do that. Sasa unasoma pole pole. Let's look at it again. The poem is The Crop Thieves. Swiri, is that Twini or Twiri again? Let me see. My eyes can't see very well. Twiril. Hey, ma. It's Swiri, Twiril. The person I suspect. Yeah, we'll need somebody with good eyes. The person I suspect. What have you heard that makes you suspicious? I had things said. I had things said. Rumors of weaver birds. They ate corn in Lesiba field and finished it. Remember the title of the poem, The Crop Thieves, What have you heard that makes you suspicious? I had things said, rumors of weaver birds. They ate corn at Lesiba's field and finished it. And when they left, they sounded human. I wonder who are the they is who. Okay, keep thinking about it. Who is the they in this place? Nani hao wamekula corn, mahindi in Lesiba's field, and when they finished it, when they left, they sounded like human. They said, listen to the numerous weaver birds, sons of Mosima's family, children of the horse that ate the courtyards, and the times. It is the numerous weaver birds, the grey ones that go about in swarms, children of the little red beaks, children that make noise in the mimosa trees. Again, you go back a bit just to try and process that. Remember, the most important thing, like we talked about the set books, that you need to understand the poem. You need to really like get who is the persona in this poem? Who is speaking? And what are they speaking about? Those two questions are very important. Because if you're not able to answer the persona question and what the poem is about, then that becomes a challenge. Even answering the other questions, trust me, it will be up. So you'd rather take time making sure that you understand the poem. All right. So in this case, we're talking about somebody is being suspected, and there are rumors that they are the ones that stole the crops. And when they left the field where they were stealing and they ate everything, that is Lesiba's field. When they left, they sounded like human. I'm not very sure how human sounds, but they said, listen to the numerous weaver birds, sons of Mosima's family, the children of the horse that ate the courtyards and the times. It is the numerous weaver birds. I'm wondering whether is the weaver birds ni kuwekelewa wanawekelewa ama ndio the thieves, you know? Yeah, I want you to try and think through as we carry on. Who are the they ni nakina nani? Nani hao wenye wameiba corns? All right, so we have also talked about the children of the horse. We've also talked about the sons of Mosima's family. We have the weaver birds. So we're asking ourselves, all these are characters that are involved. The other one, it is the numerous weaver birds, the gray ones that go about in swarms, children of the little red beak, children that make a noise in the mimosa trees. Tupu tupu, the smoke comes out while the dew still glitters. When you're talking about this, the smoke comes out while the dew still glitters, that means it's early in the morning, eh? Yeah. Hoa, swear, is heard in the early morning. They are finishing the corn, the numerous weaver birds, children of the little red beaks. At home it is yo-yo. Children are crying. Their mothers have gone to the fields, to the birds. It is the Zulus that have entered the country. Take axes and chop the tree branches. Yo. This year we shall eat fire. We shall lack even a blue-tongued goat. It is numerous weaver birds, the gray ones that go about in swarms. Okay. I hope now you have a clue, even if not the complete poem. Do you have an idea? Who can tell us just something small? What are we talking about? It is if we are referring to country. Give us an idea, even if you're not sure, even if it's a trap. I'm waiting for you people. Just share what your thoughts are, even if you're not sure. Who are the weaver birds? Who are the, these are the people who've been mentioned there. What is it? What are we talking about? I've shared the poem in the WhatsApp group. If maybe you'd want to see it from there. Oh, I hope siko peke yangu huku. Are we together?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Tunarada kitu ama kakona kanakaa funny? Anything?
Inakaa ngumu kiasi.
Yes?
It seems to be hard somehow, but we are trying to analyze it.
Yeah, just try. Just try. Just come up with at least one idea. Whatever it is that you understand, then we build it up from there. We build it from there.
Okay, on my
Yeah?
On my side, I think, okay, vile nimesoma na nikaelewa, I think there are two people talking to each other about those the thieves of the crop. One is talking about the weaver, one is asking, what have you heard? Then the other one tell I had people saying that they suspect of weaver bird. Then the other one said they are the sons of Mosima family. The one talked about the numerous weaver birds. Then they are talking of the gray weaver birds, those who go in swarms. Then at the end of the day, I think the weaver bird is still the thief of the crop, on my understanding.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you very much. What do the others think? Let's share. Even if you're not sure, just share it.
For me, I think that this is a harvest song, and it talks about how when they harvest, how that whatever they've covered after the harvest is stolen, and they still remain with some of the things, and it's kind of something that they're already used to.
All right, that's good. I like the addition of the aspect of the harvest song. It's the setting is around the harvest time, and how they are talking about how they are these thieves, but even after they have stolen, they are left with something. I'm wondering, your party Yaku are left with something. Where do we get that from? That's a very good trial and a good point. Anything else you want to add? Anybody else? Or might we move on?
Unasemaje, madam?
I was asking whether we have somebody adding to the point of what the poem is about. Anything new that you'd want to, or something different you'd want to add on what the poem is about, so that at least we make sure we understand the poem. All right, I think the answers that we've been given are good. I think they can serve. That if you look at this poem, it's more of a song. It's more of an oral song. Somebody will ask, what is the difference between an oral song and a poem? It's very slight difference.
I'm a folk song.
Yeah, you'll be the I don't know how to explain that, but even the flow of the song and a poem is totally different. The two of them are totally different. Yeah, but we'll see them as time goes on. And that's why I wanted to introduce us to something like that so that we have a balanced view. But if you look at this, it's talking about, like Wendo was explaining, that it's more of a reference to a season, a moment where the country or the setting, the community is harvesting. And remember, even the title is The Crop Thieves. crops are not stolen when they are planted or when they are growing. Crops are only stolen when they are ready for harvest. And then it says, the person I suspect, what have you heard that makes you suspicious? He says, I heard things said, rumors of the weaver birds. They ate corn in Lesiba's field and finished it. And when they left, they sounded human. They said, listen to the numerous weaver birds, sons of Mosima's family, children of the horse that ate the courtyard. And at the time, so when you look at this poem, it's addressing the weaver. We know how when it's harvest time, anything that is ready for harvest, it will attract the birds. It will attract the birds of the air from all the types, and they will come and feed on the grain. Kama ni mahindi, millet, those of us who have interacted with millet, sorghum, all those things. What else do birds feed on? That is harvest time. Karibu niseme sugarcane. What else do they feed on? James, have you interacted with farming? And I'm sure you have. What else do we plant? And during harvest time, we have to contend with the birds.
We have sorghum.
Yes, sorghum, especially millet.
Millet.
Do they do wheat? I don't think they do wheat.
Wheat, sunflower.
Yeah.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about them. The birds of the air, it becomes a problem to handle them because they.
Maybe you make a scarecrow.
Yeah, the scarecrows. But of nowadays, do they get scared? I wonder. During our days is when the scarecrows were really working.
Become resistant.
They have become resistant. Wamezoea.
Hata tumesahau wengine ni monkeys.
Hey, those are a menace. Monkeys are a menace. Yeah, so when the fruit is ready for harvest and the monkeys let me tell you, if they descend on your farm, you will have nothing to take home. And so in this case, we are talking about the thieves. And the thieves in this case are the birds. And then the birds, we are being told, are not the normal birds, They have already eaten Lesiba's field. Now wamezimaliza. By the time wanatoka huko, they sound like humans. They say, listen to the numerous weaver birds, sons of Mosima's family. It's like the weaver birds are even taunting them. They're even like zinawambia, tumemaliza huko tunakuja kwenu. It's like they really are even bragging about the power, the might, the numbers that they have. Because we are told that it is the numerous weaver birds, the gray ones that go about in swarms. So that means hizo birds haziendi kamoja kamoja that you can throw stones at or ziogope. There are many, and the gray ones, I don't know why gray. And they go about in swarms. We are told the children that make the noise in the mimosa trees, tupu tupu, the smoke comes out while the dew still glitters. So easy weaver birds, they don't just, they feed even early in the morning. They land on somebody's shamba even early in the morning. They are finishing the corn, the numerous weaver birds, children with the little red beaks. It's still talking about the birds. Children with the little red beaks. At home, it is yo-yo. The children are crying. Now, that part is very important. The children are crying. Their mothers have gone to the field to the birds. It is Zulus that have entered the country. Take axes and chop the tree branches. You see what is being chopped? It is the tree branches because the weaver birds, that's their home. They live on the branches. So what are we trying to do? We want to destroy their homes. We want to chop the tree branches so that they have nowhere to perch. They have nowhere to build their nests. And we are told the mothers have gone to the fields to the birds. That means the children have been left at home because the mothers are not there anymore. They have to go looking for ways of chasing the birds away. Because what have they done? They have eaten the whole farm. They have eaten all the grains. They have eaten all the corn, so there is even nothing left. And you are told, this year we shall eat fire. We shall lack even a blue-tongued goat. I don't know what that means. It is numerous weaver birds, the gray ones that go about in swarms. So basically, I hope now we understand it slightly better. I hope you are better placed. That in this poem, we are referring to the challenges that come around in farming. The economic challenges around this setting, where their economic activities is farming, but when they are just about to harvest, the birds and all that, from the gray ones especially, that don't just move as one, they don't move a few of them, there are many. They descend on a piece of land and they will eat and finish. And so the persona is keen to communicate to us how that is devastating. That how that activity, that issue of the birds that invading people's land and chambers and doing the things they have done, eating all the corn, it is not fun, it is not interesting, because the women have to go, the mothers have to go trying to defend their land. And the children are left at home crying. I wonder where the fathers were. But if you look at that poem, therefore, it's a sad one. It communicates some devastation, some hopelessness, some anger issues. Because you can imagine, instead of going to do stuff, unajikuta sasa wewe kazi yako ni ya kulinda birds. It's not funny. Yeah, it's not funny at all. Yeah, so that is what the poem is about. Kuna mtu angetaka kuongeza kitu ama kuuliza swali before we attempt one question and then we are good to go. Anybody, you want to add something about the meaning, what the poem is about? So who is the persona in this case as we answer that question? And if you have a question, please feel free to ask so that then we can look at the questions. Maybe we can just look at one question and we call it a day. Yes, anything? Okay, if there's no question then, let's have a look at the one questions very briefly. One question very briefly. I hope we can see the questions. Aki venye mmenyamaza, tunashindwa. Niko peke yangu ama tuko? Mko?
Tuko madam, tunakusikia.
Yeah. Question 1. To which category can you place this song? That means we need to address the various categories of songs. I want us to think through those questions. Number 2. Types of songs. Various types of songs. Wedding songs, dirges, lullaby, initiation songs, all those kinds of songs. So what category is this? Sitaki to answer those questions right now. Nasikia hata kama nimechoka kiasi. Next, number 2, identify any 4 ideophones used in the song, stating who makes the sound in each case. The ideophones, stylistic devices. Hiyo ndio nilikuwa natafuta, because we're still on the stylistic devices, on ideophones. What are ideophones? Do you see any ideophones? And the question is asking, state who makes the sound in each case, because there's a sound that has been made, referred to as the ideophone. Who makes that sound? Next, what can you say is the behavior of the weaver birds? What can you say is the behavior of the weaver birds? Next, if you are to perform this song, what would you do to make it interesting? If you are to perform this song, what would you do to make it interesting? I can't wait for us to look at those questions. Mention 2 characteristics of oral song that features in the one above. Okay. Mention 2 characteristics of the oral song that features in the one above. Identify the lines that show that unless people keep the birds away, there will be suffering. Identify the lines that show that unless people keep the birds away, there will be suffering. Explain the meaning of the following lines as used in the song. Number 1, it is Zukus that have entered the country. We shall lack even the blue-eyed goat. Blue, not blue-eyed, blue-tongued goat. And finally, what economic activity does the community practice? Very good. Let me ask you, hizi maswali kama imekuja kwa KCSE unafanya, how many questions can you answer comfortably? Ni gani unajua hiyo niko sawa, hiyo naweza jaribu, hii siwezi hata kidogo, I don't even know what we are talking about. Let me hear which one. Let me ask. Okay, both ways you can answer, both ways. Na after that twende hii class iishie hapo kwanza. The next time we'll look at this poem. Which questions do you feel hauna clue hata moja, or which one do you feel that you're okay with? Let me hear from you.
Madam, for me it is part A and B. No clue.
Part A and B.
Yes,
That is okay for you or not okay?
I'm not okay with them. How
The
to identify?
category.
Yeah, how to identify to know which song is it? And then I have another question. How will you know that this is a song and this is a poem? Ama in a
Yeah.
poem, is that repetition of the last line in each stanza? Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
that's a good question. Actually, that question should be answered in part E. Mention 2 characteristics of oral song that features in the above poem. So that's an area we need to look at. I don't want to look at it now because I don't like being haphazard. That's an area that we'd look at and talk about the oral songs. What are these characteristics of oral poems, oral songs, or oral poem? How do we know this is a normal poem? How do we know this is an oral? Is there something that sets it apart? And that's an area we'll look at, even as we look at the various categories. That's a good one. That will be handled. The others, which part are you not comfortable with? Wenda, James, and Monica. Oh, Monica, you're the one who's talked. Oh, it's Domi.
It is Monica.
Oh, sometimes unaongea kama Domi. Okay. Wendo?
I'm still thinking. This is a very tough one.
Aka si kachache. Aka itabidi tutoe mguu kwa gunia. Which is okay. That's why the nini is good. James?
Hii,
Mm-hmm.
this one seems to be tricky. It needs when the mind is fresh.
Yeah. Ndio hata unaona nikisema mimi sitaki tufikirie juu yake sahi, but at least we understand the poem. So even on your own, unaweza try to process. You can even Google by these things. Just try
So
and Google and see. Yeah.
mahali iko tricky ni hapo to identify that kind of song. Hapo haiko sawa, haiko clear sana.
Okay. Sawa sawa.
Then
So
hapo mali ya characteristics ya idiophone.
yes, the idiophones, the characteristics of the oral song, no problem. I think I am happy to hear that feedback. Will the next time we are looking at a poem, I think we'll do this one poem and then probably look at another area of poetry, just one, maybe in next week, God willing, I would want us to just wind up with the issue of poetry. Next week, at least the sessions are next week. And remember, I owe you a session, hoping that to create time now that I'll be home kiasi, though I also get very busy even during the midterm. But I will create time and we will attempt quite a number of poems so that tuone where, you know, the trick about these papers, and that's why we said tunataka tuchape hii content mapema so that we start exposing ourselves to revision papers. By the time tunaingia May ni questions after questions, you know, because the tricky, you could be having the content unajua, but ikiletwa kwa exam ndio sasa hapo you draw the line. Haujui how to answer that question, and you can only know how to answer those questions ukipitia questions. Hii kupitia questions hivyo is the only way to go about it. And so I really hope that by May tutakuwa tumesonga kiasi is even in the other subjects so that we are able to focus on the questions and answers, because that way will prepare us for the exams and so on. Yeah, so I think we'll stop it at that. Now that I've posted the questions. Now that I've posted the questions on the group, let's have a look at them. And then next week when we meet, tutaziangalia, or anytime when we meet, we'll be able to look at them. So I think we'll stop it at that. Yeah, and let's have a lovely night. And may the night be restful and tomorrow be productive for all of us.
Madam, before you
Yeah.
end, can you also look at the riddles? Riddles is not on kwa hii nini, kwa oral.
They are
Riddles.
in the oral skills as the short forms of literature. We have the riddles, the puns, the tongue twisters, and all that. Actually, they can fall. They are part of the oral skills, and that's an area we will look at. As we remember, we put a pause on the oral skills, but we said we will want to handle it in form of questions, but the layer notes. So that will be handled when dealing with the oral skills. Yeah, so it is noted, will be covered. Sawa sawa.
Okay, sawa.
All right. So have a good night, people.
Good night
Tuonane
too.
kesho asubuhi. Aya, good night.